Alex and Asiang, the Aristocrat story. This is the story of one of the most successful and longest-lasting restaurants in the Philippines, the Aristocrat. This story, like most success stories, is a story of love. A love between man and wife. Love between a mother and her growing children. Love for country. And love for good food. Aristocrat has been around for 76 years. The secret? A business model designed to fit the values of a home, made to nourish and nurture. Chapter 1. Dried Fish and Bagoong, 1892. The starring couple of our love story shared similar beginnings. Both Alex and Asiang were born in a small fishing town called Navotas. From the fisher folk in the town, the two learned the value of sheer hard work and diligence. Asiang was the fourth child of Luisa and Francisco Cruz. As a young child, she saw how her mom would struggle just to make ends meet. Growing up, she and her siblings would be tasked to dry fish, bottle bagoong, and serve customers in their small food stall. With only 4 years of basic education, Asiang was a student of the real world. At an early age, she was exposed to the transactions and negotiations that went on in the town's marketplace. Alex, the fourth child of Andres and Teresa Reyes, moved out of Navotas when he was 6 years old. His father sought better fishing grounds in Estancia, Iloilo. Alex grew up seeing his dad as a poor fisherman and would even help him sell fish in the mornings before going to school. As a young boy, he was exposed to the early form of American education. This instilled in him the value of education and made him want to pursue the academic path. Eventually, he found himself moving to Negros to finish high school. Chapter 2. Pansit, 1912. The two eventually found themselves in Manila, but for two very different reasons. Alex went on to continue his education in the State University, majoring in law, and Asiang found herself helping her mother sell goods in the big city. As fate would have it, Alex found himself a boarder in the house of Asiang, her mom and sisters. Asiang was vibrant, free, loud, and vivacious. This was a stark contrast to the studious, scholarly, and serious Alex. Never in her life did she imagine being with an abogado, but then came the love poems from the shy and quiet Alex, and the special food that Asiang would prepare for their boarder. And on special nights, Alex would treat Asiang to a whole portion of pansit, straight from the Chinese pansiteria, still steaming hot, just the way she liked it. Before finishing his last year as a law student, Alex married Asiang. Chapter 3. Lapu-Lapu, 1928. Asiang considered children to be lucky. The birth of her first child, for example, was the same time that Alex finished 4th in the bar exams. Every child born after that marked a step up in his career and in their life, be it a new position in government or a new house. Asiang believed it was her children that gave them blessings. And so the two had more and more children. Those who survived were Andres, Arturo, Teresita, Esperidion, Jose, Herminia, Alex II, Maria Luisa, Benjamin, Consuelo, and Victor. And each one was trained to help out in the kitchen and in the operations of the restaurant. Starting out as a humble clerk at the city attorney's office, Alex stepped up the government career ladder from judge of the Court of First Instance to the Court of Appeals, and then appointed as the first Solicitor General of the Philippines, and later Acting Secretary of Justice. With his prestigious status, Alex and Asiang found themselves socializing with a bigger and more prominent circle of friends and associates. Asiang was known in this circle as a good cook, and the wives of these officials would ask Asiang to cook for them until they would order her home-cooked food to serve in their own households and parties. Their house, in Marquez de Comillas, was situated very near St. Teresa's College. And with that captive market and her skill in the kitchen, she felt this would be a good way to make money out of her hobby. And so, with the approval and capital of Alex, Asiang opened her small eatery at the ground floor of their house. She called it Lapu-Lapu, named after the first Filipino hero. The place became an instant hit with the students of St. Teresa's, who enjoyed the local comfort food served in the eatery. Asiang was always a nationalist who took pride in her roots and heritage. Lola and Lolo upheld the old Pinoy values of the dignity of labor, meritocracy, and integrity. In fact, Lolo had a strict policy of not mixing business with politics. At that time, American fare was popular, and all the other restaurants and eateries around served American food. She chose to stay true to herself and serve what she knew best: local cuisine. The specialties of the house: dinuguan with puto, pansit luglog, lumpiang ubod, and arroz caldo. Chapter 4: The Adobo Sandwich, 1936. With everyone so busy during the week, family outings were planned every Sunday. These outings were usually spent in Luneta for a big family picnic. Asiang used to pack sandwiches made with native dishes like adobo and fried fish fillet. Of course, being the doting mother that she was, she always made more than enough. Consequently, Alex and the kids were able to share their food with the colleagues and classmates they bumped into. This inspired Asiang to make a business of it. She wanted to create a rolling store, much like the other vendors in Luneta, who converted old trucks to sell hot dog sandwiches. Then, the suitor of her eldest daughter, Teresita, volunteered his old car to be used as the canteen on wheels that Asiang had in mind. Initially, she wanted to name the rolling store Andy's after her eldest son. Andy was hesitant and protested against the idea. Asiang sensed the real reason why Andy didn't want it to be named after him, and asked him the question that would give the rolling store its new name. Bakit? Nahihiya ka ba sa mga aristokrata mong kaklase? And so the Aristocrat was born. They opened up one side of the car and made a spectacle of the sandwich making. Asiang believed that her food had to be masarap, malinis, at mura. So if you were watching the workers assemble a sandwich back then, you would notice that they did so without touching the food with their hands. Chapter 5: The Chicken Barbecue, 1945 to the present. And so, the Aristocrat continued to flourish and reached the height of success we know today. Asiang decided to permanently settle her rolling store on what was once known as Dewey Boulevard and open it as a full-service restaurant. Alex suggested that the restaurant be called Admiral Dewey and have the facade of the restaurant look like a ship. As soon as the restaurant was finished, complaints from the U.S. Embassy started pouring in, and the family was forced to do something about it. So Asiang took down the facade and decided to just call it Aristocrat, just like the rolling store that made them famous. Aristocrat had a hard time during the Japanese occupation, but these trying times only brought more food innovations from Asiang. During the war, for example, Asiang used easily available ingredients to make up for the desserts that people missed. Thin slices of bananas were dried and coated with molasses to create the forerunner of the banana chips as we know it today. After the war, Asiang would introduce more innovations. Aristocrat was the first restaurant to offer curbside dining service and was the first in Manila to have an air-conditioned dining room. Asiang would also bring in new ideas from her travels, such as the flying saucer, which she discovered at a Boston drive-in, and chicken in a basket, which she discovered in Broadway. She also started the trend of putting ice sculptures on party buffet tables. Asiang is also responsible for popularizing one of the favorite snacks of Filipinos, the banana fritter, or more commonly known as turon. The company was doing so well that by 1950, They were the biggest restaurant in Manila. They were able to open another branch in Cubao, open an apartment hotel in Ermita, and even a beach resort in Las Piñas. The beach resort posed a unique kind of problem for Asiang: loss of her cutlery and dishes when people would bring food to their private beach huts. To solve this dilemma, Asiang decided to serve meals barbecue style and reduce the use of utensils. And so, the famous chicken barbecue was born. Paired with a special Java sauce and Java rice, the chicken barbecue became one of the restaurant's best sellers. As if the success of her restaurant was not enough, Alex was proclaimed Justice of the Supreme Court. They were indeed the golden years of Aristocrat. Today, Aristocrat is known as the most popular restaurant in Manila. A historical landmark was presented to Asiang, as well as a street to be named after her. She is also recognized as the mother of Filipino cooking. A mother she was and always will be. A mother to all her customers. Putting up the Aristocrat primarily because she believed that people with small budgets and big appetites deserved a decent place to eat in. A place where they can truly feel like an aristocrat. Whenever Asiang cooked for her customers, she would put in the same love and care as though she were cooking for her own children. A simple formula for success, not learned in Western schools, but in the simple Filipino home. A formula that made them last 76 years and will continue to make Aristocrat grow, because people will always need a place to call their home. And today, Aristocrat home-cooked style meals are available in 9 other branches, 7 located in Robinsons and SM Metro Manila malls, 1 in Subic Bay, and another in San Pablo City. 5 bake shops and a culinary institute have also been added to complement and supplement the growing enterprise. And so the love story continues between man and wife, between mother and her growing children, and the growing number of families and customers from all over the country and around the world.